What's up, everybody? It's the Bipolar Prophet, and welcome back to Old Ridge Farm and Farming Simulator 15. And I got to turn that down because it's really loud. So, back on Old Ridge Farm and Farming Simulator 15. But VP, Farming Simulator 17 is out. Why aren't you playing more of that? Well, I'm going to tell you why while we go feed our animals. Because if I bring up my animal out here, you will see that my animals are out of just about everything. So, you'll also see that we're up to 265 milking cows, which is a lot, and I haven't really fully decided what the number is going to be that I stop at. I don't know yet. It might be 300, it might be more than that, I don't really know. So anyway, so why have I not been making more Farm Sim 17 videos? Well, I'll tell you why. If you guys have been hanging out, during the streams that I'm back to doing again on the weekends now, you've heard me talk about this, about what I'm calling the one-to-one series, of which Old Ridge is one. One-to-one meaning that one day in the game is one day in real life. It's something that I started doing a while back with Old Ridge. It's something that I sort of committed to doing with Goldcrest as well, especially because Goldcrest is a full, in character all the time roleplay series. Where Old Ridge I slip in and out, like I'm not in character right now, obviously. And sort of the problem with doing these one-to-one series is that there's not always a lot of stuff going on that need, like, obviously Farm Sim is not designed to be played at that sort of level of time, right? It's designed with a little time compression built in, as we all know. So let me just get my cruise control set here so I can pull forward and unload at the same time. And it's difficult sometimes to come up with stuff to do on a one-to-one basis. So what I think I'm going to do with Goldcrest is I think I'm going to skip ahead a bunch of time, maybe a couple of months, closer towards the fall of Goldcrest. Where I can say, okay, so I've been really busy and I haven't shown you, you haven't been with me for quite a while or whatever, and we'll be closer to the harvest and all that, closer to where some money will be made. Excuse me, I am very phlegmy today. Go figure, right? Come on, girl, move. One thing, and again, one thing about those kind of series is it takes quite a while to get set up. It takes quite a while to get to the point where there's enough stuff to do where you can do a series on a one-to-one timescale. Old Ridge is obviously established enough and busy enough that I can do this. I spent, and I'll show you afterward, I spent all day yesterday. Today is Tuesday. You guys will see this video on Wednesday. I spent all day yesterday, being Monday, of real time stacking silage bins. You know what I mean? And I say this all the time, but Old Ridge is very much a real live working place. That if if it's as close to a persistent world on a server that I can get, because obviously I can't put Old Ridge on a server. I certainly can't put this version of Old Ridge on a server and make it available to everybody, and I wouldn't do that. But this is really a persistent world that requires constant, almost constant attention. So Goldcrest, on the other hand, is a little, because of the way that, when you first start off on a map, it's a little more difficult to do it the way that I want to do it. So until it gets fully established, we're probably going to end up, there's probably going to be a lot of time jumping. But that's why there hasn't been as many Goldcrest videos as I would like there to be. I may have bitten off a bit more than I can chew with this particular format of videos that I want to make, but I'm still committed to making it work. So anyway, so what's been going on in Old Ridge? Well, as you can see, it's autumn in Old Ridge, and I want to thank David Oldfield for, and the rest of the SOB guys, for making that, the FS15 version of the Seasons mod available to me, and a few other people. It really, really helps with roleplay, because that's really its only function. It doesn't have a, switch my tip sides here. It doesn't have a, sort of quantitative in-game function yet, but it does help with roleplay, and I'm very glad that he decided, we're never going to use it again. We have the 17 version that they've made public to everybody. If you guys want this, you can have it. Thank you so very much, David. I really appreciate it. But it's autumn here at Old Ridge, and it's going to rain, and I have so much stuff to do. I have cows to feed. I have straw that I got to put in because it's cold, and they're going to need bedding. I have Chad's bale guys showed up, you know, at the, like 4:45 this morning. I was just getting over to the dairy. They were pulling in with the straw bales that I had ordered from them a couple days ago. Those need to be unloaded and get in the shed before it starts to rain. I'd very much like to get one last cut on the big new meadow over on the dairy extension. I'd like to get that done. I have manure I have to move. It's going to be a pretty busy day, and it's probably going to be several episodes of this day, as there usually are. Because this is absolutely a one-to-one series where, you know, if I start at 5 o'clock in the morning, then I'd probably go till 7 or 8 o'clock at night, you know, in real time. And then I'll fast forward time. Oh, and I also have fields that are going to need to be sprayed with water for the winter. You guys may remember in the last episode, I was planting winter barley. Well, I've had my, you know, 2 days now of emerge, and I'm going to put some water on them so that when they go dormant, they have a little water to live off of when they start growing again in the spring. I also would like to get some more silage bales over here. You see I have a few silage bales over here now. I have another stack that I'd like to bring over here. So lots and lots and lots of stuff to do. And, you know, some story stuff to do too. The compost, you know, the compost machine, me and the compost people we're not at odds yet, but man, I can see it coming because they're just like, listen, you know, we need you to keep that thing running. Okay. You know, I understand, but I need you to understand that I have a farm. I have a very busy farm that needs to be run too. So now, if it comes down to where I have to hire people for this compost machine, then, you know, I don't know. I mean, maybe they want to franchise it out to me. Maybe they want to sell me the operation on some kind of profit share where, you know, I do all the work, I make all the money, and I send them X amount of money, you know, every month to offset the cost of it, and I end up owning it. I don't know. Because they don't seem to be really too interested in bringing over more employees to help me run it. You know, I know they definitely want to get trees, you know, replanted from the trees that have been cut down over there. There's stumps that need to come out. It's a busy, busy time. So, you know, to be honest, this is going to be a winter thing. I'm probably going to deal with this compost machine and the trees and the stumping and the planting and all that over the winter when I don't have much else going on except for herd maintenance. I don't have time to do it right now. I just don't. So they're going to kind of have to deal with it. Oh, no. Cannot drive through the hedge and into the crop. Cannot do that. Probably in this episode, well, obviously in this episode we're going to get the cows all set, get them some bedding and whatnot, top off the mix master if it needs it. We got to get them some water because they're getting low on water, and then see, it's going to rain, and even though it's going to rain, I still am tempted to put water on these fields. I know that seems maybe kind of silly, but they are really, really dry. Now, I know Mike has had a lot more water up his end of the valley than I have, so I'm still tempted to put some water down. And obviously, I've got to, you know, do the sort of weather-sensitive stuff, like the getting these straw bales off these trucks before it starts to rain. So, Chad's guys decided to go over to the pub to have breakfast, I guess, while they were waiting for me, because I told them they showed up at 4:45. I was literally just walking over here, you know, getting the tractors warmed up and stuff. And they were like, "Oh, how you doing?" I'm like, "Well, you guys are here early, you know. Good for Chad for, you know, providing that service." But I'm like, I am nowhere near ready for you guys. So I got animals to feed and everything. And they're like, "That's all right. We'll go over to the pub, you know, and we'll hang out until you're ready." Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate it. So, okay, we can turn that off. Jump out of this. Go jump in the JCB, which has gotten a ton of use lately. An absolute ton of use this thing has gotten because of all the silage bale stacking I've been doing. You can see how low we were on bales. You know what? I'm going to turn that off so I don't accidentally end up taking bales off the truck. I'm not ready for that. You know what? I don't really need that. But you can see how low we were on straw bales. I knew that was going to happen. I knew I was going to get low on straw bales. You know, I just don't do a whole lot of arable to have, you know, sheds and sheds of straw. I don't do enough of it. So I knew I was going to have to bring in straw. You know, the fact that Chad has now gone into the bale merchant business is awesome. You know, I think it's cool the setup he's got there too. You see, he's got the Renault trucks, which knowing Chad, he got for practically nothing probably, along with the trailer to haul. You know, so it makes it worth it for guys like me, you know, and other big dairies in the area that are going to buy, you know, 50, 60 bales, 70, 80 bales at a time. And obviously these are huge bales. The silage situation is making me very nervous, though. I mean, I do have a metric butt ton of silage bales over there, but I'm still slightly nervous about whether or not I'm going to have enough. All right, we'll get these bales spread out, and I'll probably thank you. Sometimes I can get them to go right in a row, where I don't have to mess with them at all. But sometimes they get a little petty. I think I'm going to bring 3 more bales over here. To be honest, I could just bring all the rest of the bales that are over here because that way I can use them up and not get them mixed in with the new bale. Because these bales, according to Chad, were from a farm up somewhere near Justin, up on the other side of Watts Farm. So big arable farm up there. They're fairly fresh. They're fairly new. So you know the straw sat in the field for a couple of weeks, I guess, before it got baled up and everything. So I think what I'll do is I think I'll just put the rest of this straw in the cows. You know, and it is autumn now. It's getting chilly, so they could certainly use it. But you can see I have 42.8 hours on the JCB, and that's, I mean, honestly, probably 10 of those hours are from stacking. I have never felt more like a real farmer in my life than I did Monday, when I was just, for literally probably 4 or 5, maybe 5.5 hours, just literally moving silage bales from the sort of temporary pile that I had them in to an actual stack. Lower those a little bit more so I don't have to reach up quite so far to Z silly to actually spread them up. It's just, come on, sometimes, like I said, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Oh, okay, we'll get this one. And this one, oops, once I stop hitting the wrong button. Go. They're going to have plenty of straw, which is good. My manure clamp is just about full. I'm going to have to empty that out. I'm trying to decide if I want to do that with the conveyor or if I want to do it with the bucket. I don't know. Probably in this episode, I'm going to get the animals all taken care of. We're going to get those bales unloaded off of Chad's truck. And then we're probably going to spray. You know, I know it sounds silly. I know it sounds really silly to be spraying considering it's going to rain, but I want this barley, this winter barley needs to come up as good as I can possibly get it because I'm going to need the money. So I haven't heard anything from from M. Crawford Brown Esquire as far as, or I should say, from Old Ridge Holdings, Financial Holdings. Let me be fair, not just M. Crawford. Can I get this last bale? No. Okay. Oh, now I get it. I'll come back and get those later. I haven't heard anything from that organization about what my loan's going to be. I have talked to my solicitor. Well, I say my solicitor, but he's not mine, obviously. I don't keep a solicitor, you know, on retainer all the time. I can't afford it. I don't really need it. I only need him come tax time and when I need permits or when I'm going to, like during this process when I was going to do some pretty major expansion to the farm and all that. That's really the only time I need a lawyer. So, and he was like, you know, he says, I don't really know. That's not really my end of the, you know, the deal. I don't really, because he was the guy who helped me get into Old Ridge originally when I first moved over here from America. But he had a team of people that he went to for, you know, financial help and things like that. So he, you know, he told me, he says, I may not be the guy the best guy for this. So Mike's solicitor, on the other hand, is very well versed in finances and all that, and he was nice enough to give me her number. So I am at some point on Monday going. Obviously, it's Saturday. Can't call her on a Saturday, but I will call her on Monday, and we will have a conversation about what my legal protections are. I was down the pub last night to eat, really. Not really to drink. I had a couple of drinks. Shawnee B was around. Haven't seen him in a while. He had stopped in, and we hung out for a little bit and had a game of darts and had a couple of drinks, and I was telling him what was going on, and he was like, "Oh, you know the Crawford Browns?" I was like, "I do." And apparently, on his drive through the valley, up over here, I don't know if you guys can see this or not. Not really, but sort of straight ahead from where we're looking right now is a very nice hill, and it's forested, and there's a park up there. It's common land, it belongs to the council, belongs to the parish. Apparently, he said that on his way in, because that's the way he comes in down the back road there, which is the quickest way to get to the motorway from this area, from this end of the valley. Apparently, he saw some trucks and some diggers up there, or at least in the general vicinity. So I don't know what's going on with that. I should ask Mike, because obviously Mike's on the Commons committee. He should be up on what's going on with the Commons and all that. So it just makes me wonder, has there been some sort of change of hands of that land? Have the Crawford Browns gotten a hold of it, and they're going to build houses up there or whatever? I tell you, if that's the case, whoever builds up there is going to get a lovely view of my dairy. So, and of course, after a couple of drinks, me and Sean got to talking, like, oh, if they're building houses up there, I mean, you can sort of see it from here. You can see the hill. It's a beautiful area. It certainly is. If I had, kids or a wife or whatever, or a girlfriend, I would absolutely go up there for a picnic, and a lot of people do. A lot of people hike up there and things like that, But, we had a couple of drinks, and maybe the paranoia started to flow a little bit, but we were like, so what's the chances of if he did get a hold of that land, and he is going to build houses up there and sell them to rich people from the city, they're not going to want to look down on a dirty old dairy, are they? Not really. So how, what do you suppose, we not make a huge mess. What do you suppose, the chances of him not trying to be shady with your loan are? And I got to be honest, I didn't get a lot of sleep because of that. Thanks, Shawnee. So it really got me thinking, and it made me nervous. I'm not going to lie. Is this some sort of sketchy ploy by him? Is this? Nope. Let's not start off making a giant mess. Is this? I don't know. The thing is, and I don't know, and I can't find out, and I don't have the. You know what? Can we be cool? Let's be cool. I don't have the information I need to sort of set my mind at ease. It's making me very, very nervous. I know Mike even said it too. He said, "Geez, now I'm going to go check on the details on my loan and see and make sure that nobody's bought that." I certainly hope he doesn't have to go through this too. I would love to do this in the cab, but I just can't see. And the depth perception, as everybody knows in these games, is not fantastic. I want to shove these. That's as far forward as they'll go. Okay. Leave a little space between them, just for airflow more than anything. This straw is pretty dry. As like I said, I don't like that camera because it's been sitting. It was sitting, windrowed in the field for a while before they got to nail it. But a little airflow around your straw is not a bad thing. Because obviously, I mean, I keep my stuff, maybe not my equipment so much, as everybody knows. But I try to keep my, the dairy's always clean. It doesn't smell any more than any other dairy does. My animals are clean. My animals are healthy. So, but, rich people who maybe didn't grow up on farms and didn't, don't live on farms or didn't live on farms or have no experience with farms don't necessarily want farms crowding their, blocking their view or God forbid they have a big garden party out there, and my manure pit decides to, the odor decides to waft up the hill because the wind's blowing that way, right? So, there's a reason why my pig facility, my beef facility, is so far away from, the main farm here, because I had no choice. That's, well, not I didn't have a choice. I didn't build it, obviously, but the people who built it had no choice. It had to be that far away from a residential area. Because even with the sort of scrubbers, the air scrubbers and everything that sort of knock the odor down, that's a fairly smelly operation. I wouldn't expect to see a whole lot of, big money houses being built down there. Nope. I can never tell if I'm all the way down or not. I'm so afraid of putting the bales down too low and having them spawn into the ground when they go back to being a real thing. And then having bales all over the world. So it's just going to be me today too. Perry and Phil, you may remember this from a while back now. Perry is actually getting married to a very nice woman. Girl, actually. They're young, they're all just kids. Who works over at the pub. Her name is Molly. And it's getting close to being getting married time for them. So Molly, who is not shy by any means, came to the farm yesterday and said, I need you to not make Perry work tomorrow, okay? Because we have many things to do. The wedding is coming up in 2 weeks, so you can imagine how busy they are, right? And then Phil came to me and said, well, I'm Perry's best man, and I'm going to need the day off too. Is that okay? He's not quite as sort of forthright as Perry is. Perry was like, oh, Molly told you, right? Yes, she did. Well, that's how it is. Okay. So there's going to be another wedding coming up here in a couple of weeks. So that's going to be good. I'm obviously invited. I'm actually, apparently I'm paired up with Molly's mother. So, we'll see how that goes. I am not, I don't know. It's funny. And Perry and Phil know me. They've worked with me long enough to know me that they know I'm not the most social person in the world. I would very much just as soon, how am I going to get those top two off? So I'll figure it out. I would very much just as soon sort of hang out with the cows as, hang out with people. But Perry's a good guy. He works hard for me. And I certainly have no problem attending his wedding. So. And he keeps telling me how pretty Molly's mother is. So I doubt very much. Again, it's just sort of it's a wedding date, right? It's not really going to be, oh, that's what I was afraid of. That's what Luckily, straw doesn't last me very long, so I don't have to worry about getting it perfectly neat. But yeah, I don't think there's going to be any real worries about me and Molly's mother, getting together or anything. Go to the wedding, dance a little bit, maybe have a couple of drinks, eat, have a good time, congratulate them. And apparently they're going to, actually, Perry didn't tell me, Phil told me. I forget where he said they were going. I think they're going to Spain for their honeymoon. I believe it might have been Spain. I think that's what he said anyway. So I won't see him for 9 days afterwards anyway, but that's okay. Again, he's certainly entitled to his wedding and his honeymoon. So. And being a farmer, Perry knows. I would imagine the conversations with Molly, and Molly obviously grew up in this area. She's very well sort of versed in the farm life. I'm sure the conversation was, well, I can't, why did I only get 2? Come on, cut it out. I need 3. I can't leave BP in the middle of planting. I can't leave BP in the middle of, harvest or whatever. So, and that's awesome. And so they decided after harvest, and now that everything's pretty much done, everything's planted. Our winter crops are all planted. We have one more cut to get done on our big meadow over here. But other than that, pretty much everything's done. So they know, Perry knows he can take some time off now and go get married and, have a good time. I hope. That's not good. Get in there. That's better. I mean, just because I know I'm going to go through it really quick doesn't mean I can't be neat. Oh, I got to go on the other side. Okay. Wow, this all took a lot longer than I thought it was going to take. Okay, well. Okay, so you know what we'll probably do? In this episode, we'll probably finish unloading these bales so Chad's guys can take off. I will crash into the coast. And then in the next episode, we'll probably muck out the, or not muck out. Can you not make a huge mess? Can I just have that bale? Sometimes unloading stuff off the trailer with this thing is a little tricky. Not always, but sometimes. No. But sometimes. Yeah, so I'll fit, like I said, if I could get through a sentence, I will finish unloading these bales. Next episode, we will move the manure out of the dairy clamp over there and put it in our temporary storage. Gonna have to start another pile though. It's a little big over there. I also have the guys coming in to inspect everything. My yearly fluids inspection. No, see how you have to see why you have to be careful with this thing, because they're not actual bales until you lower them. So always a better idea to lower them a little away from where you want to put them and then push them in. Otherwise, you run the risk of having them spawn into each other, and that's never pretty. But yeah, so I have my yearly, fluids inspection, all my, the slurry tanks, and now both slurry tanks now, my permanent pit and my sort of temporary retention pit, my excess pit, I guess. What else? The water tanks and all of that stuff are going to get inspected. And I have to have that done for insurance. The insurance wants that done once a year, so that they can then determine how much of a liability I am, how much of a risk I am, and how much they can charge me. And then we'll be having meetings with the accountants and, about the taxes and all that sort of stuff before too much longer too, so all the fun winter stuff, that has really nothing to do with actual farming, but is absolutely necessary. You gotta do it. Gotta have these conversations. You gotta have these meetings. You gotta have these inspections. Gotta get the vets out for my recertification for my dairy. That will be coming in about 3 weeks, I believe, and that's expensive. That's well over $5,000. That's going to cost to have them come out and look at every single cow. We bring them all in. We put them in the vet box, and one at a time. He goes over each and every single one of them. Makes his notes, makes his observations. That gets turned into the dairy board, and then they determine on whether or not I can still be a dairy farmer or not. I've never had a problem with it before. This will be my 4th inspection, so I wouldn't imagine that I'm going to have a problem with it now. I pride myself on taking care of my animals. I really, really do. So it's important to me. Got to keep them healthy. Got to keep them happy. Whoa, jeez. Got to keep my JCB happy too after I smash it into the. I need to turn that off. Switch to this, please. Yes, I need to turn that off. Thank you. I smash into that post all the time. I feel like such an idiot. You know what? Just because, I don't know, for some reason 2 bales is going to annoy me, I think I'll take these off. No. You know what? No. I want them to go through the straw first. This is going to be a little tricky, if I'm honest. Can I get this other one? There we go. Alright, so now Chad's guys can go and take that back. It's only around the corner. I mean, it's about 1.5 miles away around the corner there on the other side of the cob. Chad took over one of the common meadows. The meadow we call the OEB meadow. He actually took over for this business. That shows you what a big deal Chad is, huh? That he could just, I really like some land over there. Is there any chance I could get some? And, the council, knowing how much taxes Chad pays, knowing what an asset he is to this community, was not about to say no. So there you go. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. A little story, a little not story, a little update, a little, what's been going on here in Old Ridge, what's been, whoops. I, this new keyboard confounds me to no end. A little what's been going on and all that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. As always, let me know what you think. Goldcrest is coming, I promise. Before the end of the week, there will be a new Goldcrest. I absolutely promise. Um, Also, remember, guys, the Bipolar Profit Gaming Community server is up and running. It's up 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, unless Multiplay, the company that I rent the server from, shuts it down for maintenance or whatever. Or if Giants is doing maintenance on their end, on their servers, and we can't connect, like we had that issue yesterday. But it seems to be fixed now. The information is pinned up on the Facebook page. The server information and the mod list, the mods you're going to need to download to be able to play on the server. And everything else is on the Twitch page, so make sure you guys go follow me on Twitch. I'm going to stream every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I will be on the server every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You guys are welcome to be on it whenever you'd like. It's a 16-slot server, so have at it, and please, enjoy yourselves. It's been a lot of fun so far, and I see that continuing. Make sure to check me out on all the social media links, which are in the description of every video. Make sure to check out everybody on the Monkey Show approved list, which is my featured channels list on the YouTube page. They're all great friends of mine. They all make great content, and they're all worth a subscription and a like on their videos. As always, guys, thank you so very much for coming to the channel, for liking, for commenting, for subscribing, for being my friends, for hanging out with me on the server, for just hanging out with me in general. It's awesome. I am so happy to be a part of this community. You guys are amazing. And there would be no Bipolar Profit Gaming without you guys, plain and simple. And as always, this is the Bipolar Prophet saying, see you later.